Well, that was weird. Went to go live and I had no internet speed at all, which is weird for a 300 megs connection. I couldn't even get speed test to run, it was so bad. So I had to go and run down and reset the router and the fiber node. That's weird because the browser was working absolutely fine. I could get to websites fine and it seemed as it normally should. But yeah, that was a bit strange. Anyways, we're back. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is Sunday night and it is time for a live stream. Now, we're in the middle of Chinese New Year, so things are a little bit quiet overall. However, I did receive this year's bribe from iFlight this week, so I'm going to show you that in a little bit more detail. We have this year's, as I like to call it, bribe from iFlight. Actually, it's Chinese New Year, and for those who don't know, a lot of the manufacturers will send something out to people like me for Chinese New Year. There are money envelopes. If, like last year, not full of money, you will find out live on stream if I am being bribed by iFlight. But they also send some nicks and knacks as well, which is quite nice to see. Radio Master did it a few weeks ago. iFlight did it again. So I thought we would start with this tonight because I always like to complete transparency with you guys so you understand what I received. That camera, that mic's right in the thing. So before we get into it, I'm going to quickly show you through what iFlight have sent. Now, I have had a look at this. I have been through it, and no, there isn't. I haven't opened the money envelopes. They are still sealed. But just to show you what we get a nice little iFlight bag, which my daughter will no doubt steal. That's obviously at least one positive review. There's a box full of banners that go up along the back. That's at least another positive review. A pack of playing cards, which are quite cool. So that's the third positive product review, obviously. There's a bunch of sort of stickers and a little game, a couple of fridge magnets as well in there. And then there's this giant blanket, which is a game, I think it is, which they've issued. I think it's like massive cloth Monopoly is the easiest way to explain it. It's like a giant blanket that's overtaking me. So I don't know what it is. It's some form of game. Looks quite interesting. Thank you, iFlight. Something with the cards. Duvet cover. Yeah, exactly. So, and that is the box empty. So I thought I'd show you this year's KOL bribes list. Thank you, iFlight. I do appreciate the gifts. That's got to be at least 3 or 4 positive reviews there that I will make up lies about just so they can sell more products. Because that's what we all do, apparently. So, now, we will do the money envelopes live. Now I got to find somewhere to put it. Let's the money envelopes live. They're sealed. Trying to get into them. If there isn't at least $2,000 in here, all those positive reviews are going out the window. So if there isn't at least $2,000, I'm done. Sorry, iFlight. It's going to be a mixed review next time. Well, that's a 0. That's a 0. Should we check the one at the back? Yeah, it's a 0. Getting disappointed here. They ain't got far to go before the cash. There's no cash in these. There'll be trouble. Very nice money envelopes. It would be funny if there was some cash. No. No. And we've got one more. So it's, tell you what, it's thin if it's in here. No. The envelopes are for you to use to give out gifts. You telling me this isn't my bribes? How boring. No, look, a thank you to iFlight. But look, I show these things really so you guys see it, because look, it's all, you know, if anyone thinks that's going to influence me, you know, I haven't dealt with iFlight for quite a long time. So yes, hello. Why would they give you cash? You get hundreds of dollars of product all year. I don't know the last time I had something from iFlight. I don't actually remember the last time I had anything in. But I appreciate the Chinese New Year thing. It's customary for the Chinese companies. It's customary, and look, it's a nice gift. People act like some product actually pays the bills. Yeah, someone said they sent me hundreds of pounds worth of products. I don't care. That I don't need the hundreds of pounds worth of products. A free drone. If anyone thinks I'm going to give a positive influence to keep a drone, do you know how many quads I've got? Do you know how many radios I've got? It makes me laugh with the radios because people keep saying, but you get to keep it. I could probably break 20 radios and still have a few spare. I don't need free radios. I keep them around for a very good reason, and there is a very logical reason for it. I do tend to break the odd one, hence my my personal boxer is actually broke. But if you're going to be comparing radios, you need them round. Now, it's quite funny, actually. Linus was talking about this, and you get this with like the big channels and things like this, where they say you get to keep the graphics cards or the CPUs, but you need them to be able to compare to other products. So you can't just get rid of something unless you've got multiples of it, because you know, if Jumper release a new radio, I want to be able to go back and look at the old one. Now I have there's some stuff we gave away, like I had a few spare sets of goggles which I'll never use, so we gave them away. We gave a set of Goggles X away, but the radios I sort of do need. I've got I'm gonna come off this. I'm still actually flying with this. I'm not actually flying with the GX12 because this is tripped out, and I like the GX12, but I just, this is my daily radio, and because I've broke it, because I dropped it, I somewhat sort of think, well, I've already broke it, I'll keep flying it. Eventually, I will cross over into the GX12 full time. But this is such a good radio. So, but yeah, look, people will say things. Sorry, I'm late, took a nap. What do you say about the new TBS Mojito? Very interesting. Looking forward to getting my hands on it. I talked about the Mojito a few weeks ago. I was hoping for TBS to release something a bit more beginner. That's just what I was hoping. That's not taking anything away from the Mojito. I really think the Mojito is looking very, very interesting. I will be having one on the channel at some point this year. I don't know when that will be. I'm in winter. Postage is a problem for that aircraft at the moment. When it becomes available in the UK, I'll either buy one or TBS might send me one. I had a couple of messages back and forth with Trappy last week. I'm not going to hide that fact. He reached out and just... I can't remember because I spoke about it and answered a few questions that I asked, actually. And when availability and postage is a bit better, we'll sort something out. And that sort something out might be they'll help me order one in the UK or something. I don't know what'll happen. I'll give it a little bit of time. I'm not going to pay the crazy postage, and I wouldn't want them to pay the crazy postage either. Unmanned Tech are getting them in, are they? So once Unmanned get them in, it'll be fine then. So I am interested in the Mojito. Definitely, definitely, definitely. I still would love to see TBS do something a bit more beginner as well on top of it. But let's see. I think the shipping is complex. You can't blame TBS for the shipping. Shipping is horrific. If anyone's ever shipped anything around the world, it's just not good. I did see, we saw, was it Mr. Steele had released the proper video? Let me just have a look. Did he release his proper video of it flying? It was, oh my God. Was it, I saw some footage from it, and I don't know if it was new or was it the original, because at the time it was all blacked out, but it isn't now. So has he released a new video, or I'm trying to see, did he release it or did TBS release it? I'm just looking on his YouTube channel. I'm not seeing it there. Is it on TBS? Let's have a look. Where they show it properly, because it was masked out, if you remember the first time they showed it. No, nothing new. It might have been on socials then I saw it. TBS, not Steel. Have they released a new one? Is it a short? I saw a new video, which was, it's the old video, but with it unblurred, is what I saw. But I can't remember where I seen it. And it was good to see. It was screaming past. Absolutely screaming past. If anyone knows where that video is, was it on Facebook? Because it was absolutely screaming past. Let's just have a look. Before we get into it. Team Black D Sheep. Where was it on? It's a YouTube short, is it? Oh. Is it a Mr. Steele short? Oh, yes. Here it is. Okay. So, let's see if this plays.
What the fuck? Für alle flach auf dem Boden, ja.
That's a lot of speed. That's a lot of speed. Looking forward to that. It's a lot of noise as well. That was the Mojito, yeah. And look, there are faster planes out there, but less things. So now we've got the iFlight shilling out the way. TBS, yeah, let me just go down to there. Why is that not working? Because I didn't have that turned on. There we go. That's why that's not working. So there we go. Okay. Tonight, we're going to talk about a little leak that I saw, which is somewhat gone under the radar. Was that not the Mojito? I thought that was the Mojito. We're going to talk about a little leak on the Caddx thing. We're going to talk about... I've seen someone talking about CNC gimbals for jumper, and I'd heard about these, but they don't seem to be available. And we'll talk about a few other things as we move through. Now, before we go into it, I just want to do a quick bit of an update on DJI O4 before we get into Caddx and the others. Now, I'm getting a lot of questions on O4 about camera cables. Camera cables are now becoming available. It's taken a little bit of time, but if you get onto iFlight have listed for pre-order an O4 VTX cable. It's worth noting that O4 cable is the same on the Lite as it is the Pro. People keep saying, is it a different cable? I want this. O4 cable is the same on both. So, iFlight have one listed at 220mm for 17 quid, which is horrific, if I'm honest. Runcam, apparently, I couldn't find it when I looked, but apparently Runcam are going to have it as well. Is it coming up? Ah, there it is. Runcam have a couple, and they've got straights and right angles, and they're better priced. $9. That's much better. Much better. Right angled on both sides. Straight to right angle. Straight to right angle. Why can't they do a straight to straight? So yeah, they're coming on there. Axis Flying have it on their little kit there. And you're also starting to see them appear on AliExpress as well. So, look, they're starting to appear. What I really don't like looking at all of these cables is they all look as bad as the original. None of these. Is that the braided? Though, is that more like the O3 cable? None of these look like the O3 cable did, which is really annoying. We need to have a closer look at these. $10 is about right. That looks like the really thin original DJI one. I just got 300 and 200mm. Okay. Yeah, look, they're definitely out there, so you're starting to see them appear. But I'd like to see more like the O3 with a bit more protection on it is what I would like to see. That does look like it. That looks like that's braided when I look down there. But they are becoming available. Obviously, with O4, there is a lot going on with O4 at the moment. There are definitely quirks, that's for sure. I've been flying it a bit this week. I'm starting to get flight time on it. I'm going to probably review O4 in 2 to 3 months. It's too early for me to review O4 yet. I haven't had enough flight time. I haven't had enough time to really get to grips with it. You know, you can't review an FPV system as a whole, as an upgrade especially. It's very hard to do it in a very short period of time. The nice thing is I'm not involved in the launch, so I've got no commitment to put a video out what I think about it. It is unmistakably, undoubtedly better than O3 in every way. It is without doubt the best looking digital FPV system on the market today. Not even open to debate. It is without doubt the best overall FPV system, but it's got some bugs. It's got some bugs, you know, and I'm less worried about the MIPI issue. I think that will resolve itself. The light camera is a shite design that really needs improvement. I'm less concerned about the MIPI cable. The MIPI cable, I'm not sure how much of an issue that really is. I'm not really that concerned on the robustness. Robustness is what it is, other than the light camera. The light camera board is not good. The interposer board design is a terrible design. Other than that, the Pro is fine. The Pro is absolutely fine. Even the light air unit is fine. you know, you can't have everything with regards to robustness. You know, if we look at this, you know, this is how it is. You can't make this any more robust than it is, other than covering it in metal. And if they were covering it in metal, people would complain it's too heavy. This is absolutely fine from a robustness perspective. I think people are going to break it. That is going to happen. But that happens on HDZero, that happens on Avatar HD, that happens on everything else. This is fine. The Pro is fine from a robustness point of view. The main issue with this is the light camera. The camera setup is not ideal. What's actually annoying is that interposer board, and let me just find my broken one because it's still here. What's really annoying in this, and I need to order a new one. Actually, I haven't reached out to DJI yet. They could make a camera cable that goes straight onto that connector there. They could absolutely make a cable that went straight onto that without using the interposer board. They really could. And that, I think, would solve a lot of the problems. If you didn't have this separate PCB, I think it would be tidier. Alternatively, they could really glue that off and really glue it, like mega glue it. If they made a cable that went straight to that and was a little bit longer, I think that would be fine. That would solve the issues on this side of it. That's about the only major issue on O4. Look, I think the reason they did this was this module is the module out of the Neo. There's no adjustments, no changes. It's just taken out of the Neo directly. And they needed an interface, and that's what they came up with. You could absolutely glue it with hot glue. You know, my connector on this is now broken. That's how weak it is. And it's incredibly weak. But other than that, O4, I think, has got a huge amount to offer. It won't please everyone. You know, look, it's still a digital system. It's still a two-way digital system. People who don't like compressed video systems won't like O4 because you won't really like O3 and you won't probably like the original system and you won't like Avatar. The gyro issues are interesting. We are starting to see more and more people post about the gyro issues. I'm not convinced it's a problem. I am not in any way sure that there's an actual problem. What we have here is cameras with a hard-mounted gyro on the back. As a result of that, it needs soft mounting. And when I'm saying soft mounting, TPU isn't soft mounting. It needs silicon inserts. It needs to be completely insulated from the frame. Now, what we are starting to see is people convert quads and then complain. The problem with that is converting a quad with an existing narrow camera cage, the O4 Pro camera is so tall, there isn't always clearance on the frames. And let me just show you this. If I grab the AOS, where's the AOS conversion that I did, which has got O4 in it? Where is it gone? My AOS 5 has vanished. That's weird. It was here. Ah, there it is. Okay. So, if we look at this and zoom, focus. Now this has just been built ready to test. The sheer height of the camera means that you need to have plenty of space either side all the way up. Now Chris has done that here, but here's the problem. This is not soft mounting. This is really soft TPU, but this is not soft mounted. That is not going to stop the vibration issues. And as a result of this, I think this is why people are still getting vibrations in their footage, especially when correcting it in gyroflow. TPU is not a soft mount. It's a flexible mount is the term I will use. You need full silicon, but you also need the space around the camera to ensure that it has area to move. And this is where I think people are having issues. Now, I haven't flown this yet, so I don't know what the AOS is like. You need flashlight material. Joseph. I'm not putting a picture up, right? I'm not doing that. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I'm not putting a picture up of that, right? Who's going to create a picture of a O4 camera in a flashlight? Because that's what... I'll do that on Discord later. But I genuinely don't think it's a fault. I think these issues are exactly the same as we saw the first time. People converting existing frames. Those existing frames not having a great deal of space for the much larger camera. And even if they're TPU mounting them, TPU is not a soft mount, it's a flexible mount. Soft mount is silicon. Now, this does pose a problem in some aircraft, and I'm not going to pretend it doesn't, especially something like this. Because I don't know what you do. Because that's a full top-end TPU mount. I made. It's not the greatest in the world. I made that myself when there wasn't any. There are better ones out there now, but I haven't thinged. You know, I don't know what you do in this situation. You can't easily soft mount this. Therefore, you're going to have problems. I made this very quickly to do for testing. Does the O4 Lite work on a 6S battery? No. 13 volt max. So, look, there's going to be issues, and I just don't know how you fix this. I just don't. I just don't know. And this is where I think some people will be disappointed with O4. But this, I do not believe, is any different to O3. I just think this is people converting frames and frames not being optimized. We saw it with O3. We're seeing it again with O4. Who knows? Perhaps there are some out there with faulty gyros or bad noise and DJI will fix it in firmware. I'm not convinced it will. In the flying I've done so far, I'm not particularly unhappy with how it looks. It looks fine. There are some jiggles. There are some bits. I think we're going to need to improve. But I have had some really good people reach out to me with issues and not be able to fix them. And these are people who know exactly what they're doing. They are credible pilots. And they are struggling with it, and their friends are struggling with it, and they don't really know what to do. And I think we're in this learning curve of how O4 behaves. That's the bit we're learning at the moment. What I can say is there are bugs, and there are all sorts of bugs. Someone up there, you know, I'm seeing people with flight control errors. There's someone with an IMU error. I've not seen this IMU error. Are you sure... The person with the IMU error, what goggles are you using? And are you sure it is not the goggles IMU that is causing an error and not the air unit? Are you sure it's not the goggles? Because remember, you can calibrate the compass in the goggles. And you can calibrate the goggles. I've never tried calibrating the goggles 3. You can calibrate the goggles 2. O3 works fine. There are weird things. I got the IMU error after a crash. There are absolutely weird things. But the IMU error could be the IMU on the camera error. It could be the camera error. Which means you might have a damaged MIPI cable. Or it's a faulty camera. There are weird things popping up. Some people getting messages where it says plug into Fly app to set the region code, which doesn't seem to work properly. There are lots of weird quirks that are showing up right now. When O4 loses the TX from the goggles, what happens? The link drops. Two-way is needed at all times. IMU error with a camera in 1,000,000 bits and another one intact. Those gotchas you said, lol. I did say it. It's not a told you so, but I always said about the gotchas. The gotchas are, what are the downsides? The downsides are, is it going to mount into everything the way we want it to? Is it going to behave the way we want it to in everything? There is always a compromise. There is talk of DJI releasing a firmware update very soon. There was something on DJI forum. Someone was asking about issues, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this for the video. DJI did say that they will be releasing firmware very, very shortly. Goggles do not connect. I don't know what that one is. O4 solid green light won't boot or bind. Where is it? There was one I saw under here. It might be this one. That DJI replied and said there would be an update. Let me just see. That's my video. No, it's not that one. DJI actually replied on the post and said there would be an update coming shortly, but I can't remember for what issue it was. They've been very quiet on the vibration one. I have noticed that. They're not saying a lot at all. No, it's not that one. I'm not sure what issue it was. Known issues. Yeah, exactly. Oh, it might be this one. Oh, it might be... See, look, there's IMU errors. There's a lot... There's a lot of quirks coming up. Is it this one? Here we go. Yes, so this one. Starting FPV Pro, switching to manual power settings to 1200 milliwatts. I have problems with the connection. I'm using Goggles 2. There are loads of quirks on Goggles 2. That's for sure. Bitrate in the mode is jumping between 35 and 45 megabits a second, even if I'm standing right next to the drone. Anything lower than 1200, stable at 50 megabits, no problem. This is, you get in different bit rates depending on the RF power level you set on Goggles 2. And DJI have said, hi, thanks for your feedback. Our engineers will look at the problem and fix it in firmware later. Please pay attention for updates. There are real quirks on the Goggles 2 especially. It is mostly fine on the Goggles 3. Goggles 2 is showing the lower bitrate issue, although is it really a lower bitrate? I don't know. Is it a readout issue or a lower bitrate? In the end, it's not really important, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute anyway. IMU error. People getting that. DJI asking for help. Yeah, there's Goggles 3 is definite. The Goggles 2 bitrate issue is quite interesting. People get very bent out of shape about not getting maximum bitrate. Don't worry about the bitrate as long as it's working properly. 30 megabits a second or 50 megabits a second doesn't matter as long as it's working. O4 is highly dynamic. And it looks like it will drop the bitrate if it doesn't need it. Even if you've got great signal, it'll just drop the bitrate down without an issue. Most of the problems appear to be on Goggles 2 and Integra. So that's where we seem to be. So look, there's some work for DJI to do. None of this is in the situation of me saying to you, don't buy or don't fly. I always rate the products of what's a safety issue, what isn't a safety issue. There are bugs all over O4, and there are loads of them. Even in the Goggles 3, there's still bugs. They've still got Chinese in certain places where there should be English in the menus. They still haven't fixed that. But overall, I think it's a good product. I think it looks phenomenal. The Pro especially. I think the light has turned into a bit of a... The term I'm going to use is the light has turned into a bit of a no-go for many people if you want to record the footage. If you don't want to use stabilized footage on the light, I think there's a lot of people who are interested. However, I think for people who want to film, the light is a no-go. Do I think it was rushed to market? No, not based on how long we know they were working on it. I wouldn't call it rushed. I would say they hit a deadline and they ran out of time to fix the issues, is what I would say. I wouldn't say rushed, but I think they had a deadline they needed to hit, and that's when it came out. It had been around and in testing a long time. I do wonder if this is another brand new team, because O3 launched pretty much perfect. Pretty much perfect. Will they fix the gyro issue? I don't think there is a gyro issue. Honestly, I don't think there is a gyro issue. I think it's mounting, and that's the truth. But let's see. It's an unfiltered gyro, just like O3 was. We'll have to wait and see. You have to get your nose into the perfect spot, and then... Rocksteady. One of my lights works great, one of them is terrible. Vision Copters, iFlight Nazgul Evoke F5D version 204. Camera cage especially designed for O4 Pro. Has silicone pads. It's a soft mount, but there is still minor shaking in the footage. It's either picking it up through the frame. Have you set the PWM to 48 kilohertz? The Nazgul's not the... I would start looking at the Betaflight logs and seeing how much noise there really is on that. And how tight is the camera? I would start looking at how tight the camera is in the mount, even on silicon. Is it touching any part of the metal anywhere? Is there enough space around it? Because that camera is huge. When I also got the IMU error. Yeah, if you got the IMU error, I'm not surprised. Also, it could be worth checking that the camera is tight in its housing. Distance between the mounting screws doesn't help. No, and look, there is another issue that could be causing it here. The mass of the camera is different. There is a lot of quirks that could play into this. O3 might have been the sweet spot, right, on camera mass and how much it picks up. This camera is so much bigger, and the size of it might be playing into how much it picks up. Like, I'll be honest, my footage looks really nice on the It's FPV. I was fine the It's FPV era 04, and it looks decent. I've got no real complaints. The odd twitch here and there. Any gyro is sensitive. You know, here's the truth, and perhaps we need to do this. I wonder if it's worth creating a TPU 3D printable case for the camera to replace the plastic outside casing. That might be a very good idea, to create an entire replacement TPU outside housing. I found the not recording issue on my light. It turns out that the internal storage on a phone camera gets stuck and you need to manually write a file to it, any file, otherwise it stays read-only. Weird! Weird, weird, weird. Didn't we try transferring a file onto it on Stream, Stu? Didn't we try that? Any news on O4 light field of view increase in software? I doubt that'll happen. You never know, but I'm not aware of anything. So look, that's where we're at with O4. I was flying it this week, flying it a few days ago. I'm happy. I think overall, like, it's not going to be perfect, but overall, I think it's definitely a step forward. I don't know what we do. I think the vibration issues will take some time. GPU is not soft. Tape. Someone said tape. Foam tape. Ah, right. Okay, Stu. Right. Weird. Weird, weird, weird. Will we be able to make a device that can make Goggles 3 and N3 take an analog VTX? No, not possible. You can buy harder TPU like 720D. Yes, I've got 72D here. Yeah, there are... see, again, there's lots of quirks. Lots of quirks. So, overall, I'm in the middle of flying it. There's lots of problems. I think we wait for the next big firmware update. Hopefully it won't be too long. Tell you what I don't know, and here's a question, and if someone can answer who's watching, let me know. I don't know, have DJI stopped talking to the testers? This will be an interesting one. I know there was quite a good test group around this, and a lot of the issues were somewhat known before launch. Have DJI stopped talking to the testers now it's released, or are they still communicating, and are they taking feedback? That's an interesting question, because DJI often sort of go dark once a product is released. And yeah, foam tape it could be then. Foam tape to hold the oath. So you just really need some of that really thick foam tape. Anyone know some good stuff? You want that quite sponge foamy tape, don't you? I'm just looking here. I wonder how soft that is. That doesn't look soft. Oh, look at that. Foam seal. Oh, yes. Double side. That's what we want. That stuff. Draft excluder. Servo tape. Never heard of servo. This stuff. I think I'm going to try and get some of that draft. Is that double-sided? No, that's single-sided. We want double-sided foam tape, is what we want. Oh, hello. What are these? I wonder what they're like. VHB. 40 pieces black foam tape, strong pad mounting adhesive. That looks quite thin, that stuff you've just posted, but that might be good, yeah? Yeah. I think foam tape falls apart. Yeah, I definitely think the white roll you had on the last screen. I definitely think foam tape is the way forward on this. I definitely think foam tape is the way forward. That stuff. Is it? Double-sided. £3.19 from Amazon. Oh, yes. Look at that. Might get some of that in. I might just get some of that in and see. Might be a bit dense. Yeah, look, I honestly, I would... Cam mounting, yes. Anti-vibration tape. Yeah, anti-vibration tape. Self-adhesive neoprene sponge rubber tape. Plenty of the stuff on Amazon, all sorts on there. Hot glue it. That I think is the way forward. Honestly, a foam tape. That I think is the way forward. Genuinely. All you're doing is adding latency. VHB FPV. .3M sticky pad, double-sided. Yeah, that honestly, I think that's the way. Only downside is your camera angle is fixed. Yeah. Is the ISO gyro sensor in the camera on the board? Yes. Correct. It's on the back of the board. So for people who don't know, before we move on, I'll just show you this quickly. So the gyro, if we go to my FPV wiki where we have all of the pictures up and everything for O4. So if you look on the O3 camera, that's the gyro on the O3 camera, just mounted on the side there. That's the gyro on the light camera, if we go down to both cameras properly. So if we look at the back of the Pro camera, there is the gyro on the back of the Pro, just on the side there. And then if we go onto the light camera, down here, there's the gyro there. Cable issue could definitely cause a gyro problem, because I suspect there's an I2C connection over here. Because the gyro will be communicating over I2C. Almost guaranteed over I2C. Because there's bugger all circuitry for it. Version 37 soon. Yes. So Rossa will go with 37. So, look, that's where we're at. I bet the weak side of the cable is where the gyro data is sent. Yeah, I'll have to pin mine out for the gyro. I haven't done that yet. I will do that. I will pin out the gyro. What is... So, that gyro. So if we look at that gyro, so the gyro is the I469D. What's the pinout? We need to find the pinout. Nope, that website's not working. Any images of the pinout on this? Trying to see if we've got a pinout of the gyro. There's got to be a pinout in here somewhere, isn't there? Before we move on. Come on. Ah, there it is. I missed it. What an idiot. So... There's a lot... Look at the lot of nons connected on that. There we go. SDA-SCL. There's no dot on this, is there? So that'll be the non-connect. That'll be the non-connect. So it'll be non-connect, non-connect. So it's either those top two or those bottom two, depending on which way round it's mounted. So if that's that way round, it's going to be those two there. That looks like ground. If I'm reading that right. Close that. So it should be those two. So if we flip it upside down, it should be them. So it should be them. It's either those two, but that looks like that's going to ground and that's going to ground. Or it should be those two. But that looks like ground. So, need to do some investigating. Okay, right. Before we move on to Caddx, I just want to say a big thank you to What's Up for the £5, not dollars. Thanks, Dave. You're incredible. Thank you for that. Slinky FPV, $5. Thanks for the hard work. Thank you for that. CHF, 10. You want DJI O4, you're extremely well equipped to HDZero. And so, Kevin has asked, I need to read this. You want DJI O4, but you're extremely well equipped with HDZero and DJI FPV System 1 plus DJI Goggles 1. Now my question is, how much more does DJI O4 offer? Which goggles for O4 sell DJI Gen 1? So, O4 is on a different league to Gen 1. It's not even close how different it is. And if you're going to buy O4, get Goggles 3. As for how important to you is image quality, because if you're happy with the V1 system, O4 will blow your mind. It's on another level image quality-wise. On another level image quality-wise. It's ridiculous. It's like compression doesn't exist. O4, honestly. The goggles live feed is insane. It's like compression isn't even a thing. It's madness how good it is. It's a hard one. It's really how important image quality is for you. That's really what it comes down to. I can't really say much more than that on that. Just closing all of these tabs that I opened. And I need to get ready for... Okay, so... Next, we're going to talk a little bit about Caddx, because obviously, a little while ago, we had this image, which is this one, which is apparently their upcoming new VTX, or at least a VTX for something new from Caddx. Now, this isn't, we're being told, the V2 system. This isn't OpenIPC. It is something else. This week, this image appeared on my Discord, and I've been told that this is an upcoming ready-to-fly drone from Caddx that has this new system in. Now, it looks like it's going to be a bit of a sort of have a go at Defender 25, Defender 16 from iFlight. If you look, it's very small. If you look at the size of the hand. It does look very, very small. I don't really know what this is. It'll be interesting to see. If you want my money, and if you want my suspicion, I reckon Caddx is going to sell a cheap starter ready-to-fly drone and goggles set and remote. And I reckon they will make a box goggle. I reckon they're going to make a cheap package is what they're going to do. That looks like a proprietary battery. If you look at it, I think they're going after the ready-to-fly market with this, is what they're trying to do. It's really hard to know what it really is. I could be wrong. You know, I'm not even sure they'll release a module for this to work with the Avatar goggles. I think this could be something standalone, entirely standalone, as a real budget option to get people into FPV. We're going to have to wait and see, but really not sure what this is about. Caddx, obviously there's talk of them getting into OpenIPC. I don't really know what that will bring to the table. I don't really have any excitement of Caddx getting into OpenIPC, because you have RunCam in OpenIPC, you have Emacs in OpenIPC, and everything they've done so far is a crap show, if I'm honest. It's a joke. If you actually really look at it, everything RunCam did and everything... competition's no good when they're banging out shit hardware. It's all shit. It's all crap. None of it has really helped anything. The good hardware has come from the OpenIPC devs. You know, the RunCam VTX is an absolute joke. I'm disappointed in the Emacs. I've got it here. The video is half made, and it's just, it's nowhere near a product. It's not even close to being a product. All that has happened so far is the manufacturers have banged out cheap boards as quick as they could with off-the-shelf Wi-Fi adapters. And it's not development. It's not development. They fucking spent 5 minutes knocking up a board with the ASIC on, with the Star chipset on, and then slapped on a Wi-Fi adapter. If they made more effort on the box packaging than they made on the actual product themselves. It's a joke. And until they start doing it a bit more seriously, it's hard to know where it's going to get. And look, OpenIPC today remains as difficult as it did on day one. And I'll say this again, it's not about the project, it's about the project isn't taking steps forward to make it easy for new users. It's running off and doing nice things like two-way link, and people are talking about building goggles, and people talking about a VRX eventually, and a hat eventually. How many months are we past and things are still no simpler, no better, no easier? The problem is the number one mistake everyone makes is usability. What made DJI's V1 system better than everything else at the time? And that was really simple. It was turnkey. DJI delivered an air unit that had a plug on the back that was fairly robust and it just worked. They delivered a set of goggles that were nicely packaged, powered up, and generally just worked. Everything just turnkey, and it worked. Now, I'm not saying OpenIPC needs to do that for everything, but everything is messy. And messy causes issues, and it's hard. And it's still work in progress, and it will improve, and there's more stuff coming. But it needs to step out of this development and back in, and it needs to... The OpenIPC configurator is a big stick up. Yeah, but which one? Because Mario's one is that now stopped? Because people... It was working and then it wasn't, and then it broke one of my VTXs because there was a problem in it. Look, but again, where is version 1.0 stable where you're not downloading daily builds? Where are the release notes? Where are the change logs? Where is version 1.0? Here, install this on this and it works. And look, I think the team did an incredible job on their hardware. Their hardware was very good. I think one of my Mario VTXs is bad. I think one of my Marios is bad. One of them is fine. One of them is bad. There are lots of quirk. It's work in progress. It's a great project if people want to get into it. But my overall point is Caddx getting into OpenIPC for me is a waste of time if nothing really big changes. If Caddx released a set of goggles and an OpenIPC VTX that worked, and it just worked within their own world, and I know you can hack it out, but it just worked within their own world, then maybe that would help push things forward. But the problem today is we've had Runcam and Emacs come in and basically make as little effort as they could on the hardware. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's certainly not where it needs to be. And again, Chinese manufacturers banging out cheap hardware doesn't help anyone. We were talking about this today, and look, Caddx have a real problem, okay? Caddx have a really big problem. And that problem is DJI. And it's even unfair to even compare Caddx to DJI. Because Caddx is the easiest way for me to explain this, and I explained this earlier. Caddx is like your local computer shop building PCs from components that they're buying in, I don't know, Micro Center, PC World, wherever, okay? And they're assembling them. DJI is Apple. DJI is creating the silicon, the software, everything all the way down. All the way down. DJI is creating everything down to the bottom. Sounds like you guys are having more problems. Don't be so fucking stupid. O4 works fine. There are quirks. OpenIPC is a joke when it comes to setup for new users. Look, at least Linux now has Mint and all of those other things. Reminds me of Linux 10 years ago, 20 years ago. That's where OpenIPC is today. Please don't start thinking that DJI has all of these problems. They're minuscule. What we're whinging about on DJI is minuscule in the grand scheme of things. Minuscule. We're asking for perfection. But when it comes to DJI is Apple. They are literally creating everything from the bottom up. DJI probably have more of the world's top RF engineers with regards to video than any other company. DJI is arguably the world's #1 at wireless video. There's no one that comes near them because they sell more than pretty much anything else. It's quite unfair to even compare Caddx to DJI at times. If you think about it, Caddx is really taking an off-the-shelf chipset, just like buying an Intel CPU, installing Windows and trying to use that. And that is the problem Caddx have. They are not in control of the system they're selling. They have some knobs they can turn. They have some buttons they can press. They have some bits that they can tweak. But the truth is, Caddx are locked in around what Artisan allow them to do. Because they have an SDK and they can't really deviate outside that SDK. DJI own the whole stack. They created the silicon. They make the chipsets. So it's wrong to really compare Caddx to DJI, but we don't have a choice. That's the world we live in. The big problem Caddx have today is how they fix the issues that they have in their compression, because JB showed this really well, and I have whinged about this since day one, and a lot of people forgot about this actually. JB's video on comparing Caddx to DJI was really good because you saw the compression. It's shocking how bad it is in the greens. I see it all the time. I've complained about it since day one. If you remember my videos, I said the compression is shocking. It's absolutely shocking. And I don't know how Caddx fix that when they don't have control over the codec. They don't have control over the base system. And that is the problem comparing DJI to Caddx. Walks out a bit... look, when you look at them side by side, it's shocking. When you actually fly them side by side, it's a joke. And look, if you fly a lot of green, you will see it. Caddx looks a lot better if you're flying concrete areas, bandos, things like that. Where Caddx completely falls apart is in grassy, repetitive, high noise environments from an image perspective. So high noise is repetitive patterns, high frequency noise especially, grasses, things like that. And it looks horrific. And look, you know, I showed in one of my tests that branch just appeared out of nowhere. If you remember the video I showed it on. What was I testing? That was the Goggles L, wasn't it? When I tested the Goggles L. That branch wasn't there and then was there. For those who remember, it wasn't there and then it was there when I did the Goggles L review, because I really just missed it. And I don't know how Caddx get past that. And that's not a hardware problem. Look, there's a lot of talk around Caddx having a V2 system. Hardware won't fix the problems they have today. Hardware won't solve that. They need a new codec and a new RF pipeline to solve that. And compression is the real problem. And look, I hope they can solve it. I hope they can solve it. You know, it got worse when Caddx, you know, when I originally reviewed the Caddx system, I said, don't buy. If you remember, the video is still out there. It says, don't buy this. August 24, just you wait. When they improved the low light performance and especially the dynamic range, they introduced the codec issues. And it was really noticeable on JB's video when you put them side by side. I've shown it anyway. I've shown it 100 times. I tell you what, you do forget as well how bad the V1 system from DJI is. And Caddx are not alone. The DJI V1 system has a lot of rolling compression as well. A lot of rolling compression. You see, Caddx is a bit weird, actually. Caddx always seems to come in from the left-hand side. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this. It always seems to sweep across that bottom third of the image across the left-hand side. Whereas DJI's was more at like a distance. So on the V2 system, it's like 20, 30 foot out, you always had this blanket of compression. Whereas Caddx seems to get it come in from the left-hand side and sneak along. Whereas compression, it just doesn't exist on O4. Unless you start getting the signal down. It's insane. JB did a real nice job of showing the two. And what's he flying here? I can't remember. Oh, look at that. Straight onto an advert. Do I think Caddx will catch up to DJI quality? Unlikely ever. See, you can... So what are we on at the moment? So... I need to check what he's flying. Is that DJI? I couldn't see.
We got the Walk Snail 1S.
So this is O3.
Oh, I have no up.
There's also YouTube compression on this, which really doesn't help.
Up tilt.
YouTube compression really doesn't help.
I took straight the fuck off. Straight.
So where's the walk snail bit? I'm trying to remember where the walk snail bit was. I can't remember how far in it was. The rolling compression on Caddx is always what got me. It's always... Is the first one Caddx or the second one Caddx? I thought this was O3. I can't remember what this one is. I'd have to go... Oh, no, it's O4 Pro at the top. Sorry, I missed the bloody... Walk Snail GT. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, here we go. Let me go back. O4... Right. So he's now doing it. See, look there. Look here. He's literally next to himself at this point, and it's already... Yeah, I couldn't see it. I was looking at the bottom. I now see it. It's already there, look. He's literally next to himself. Look at this whole area here. There's just no detail in this at all. It's all gone. It's all mush. This side looks great. This side, I don't want to say great, but it looks better. See there, look at that. There's a whole area there which is like, no, I'm going to compress. And this has always been the problem. Always been the problem. Now, here's the irony. On this scenario, it actually looks, look at the detail there. It's all there. It's a bit out there. You can see it's falling apart there. But in this kind of conditions... Oh, so 4, sorry. Oh, yeah, no, he didn't get very far on... But it's still... I don't know, mind. Look how much... That's just compressed to hell. It's the compression that really gets O4. Caddx. It's JB did a really nice job. I watched that video a couple of days ago. I was like, okay, yeah, that really shows it. Look, can Caddx catch up? I don't know. the truth is. Does that mean, though, it's not a valid system? Does that mean it doesn't suit people? Look, you got to take into account a few things, and you have to add balance here. DJI are never going to give you HDMI output. DJI are never going to give you analog input anymore. DJI are never going to give you all of the stuff you ask for. DJI are like Apple. They do what they want, and you'll buy it or you won't, and that's your problem. And that's how it works. That's fine. Caddx will do things like the GT. They'll do things like the Gimbals. They'll do stuff that might intrigue you. Where Caddx have a problem is the system. The system needs to take a step forward a bit now to get closer. But also, they need to stop making promises they can't fulfill. And let's see from there. You know, I think Caddx was stupid to talk about a V2 system. You know. The low light pro camera. Yeah, and look, Caddx have some great options. The low light cameras. Caddx, though, are CCTV cameras. DJI are filming cameras. They're very different machines. They're very different animals. You can't grade the Caddx well. You know, Caddx have some benefits, and they will never be all things to all people. And there will always be a reason some people want to go with DJI. There will be a good reason why some people will always go DJI. If you like image quality, DJI. If you need HDMI output, Caddx might be the better idea. If you like having a VRX module, if you like having other options, they're out there. Caddx have benefits. There's no question about it. But will they catch up? It's a hard one. That's a real hard one. I don't think they will ever, ever fully catch up. They will never, ever really get to DJI level. Because would you ever expect your local computer shop to be able to make a MacBook Pro and design the chipset? No. So you have to be realistic. I think people have to accept this. Caddx are not DJI. They are not even 0.001% of DJI. DJI are the largest drone company on the planet. They sell more consumer drones in an hour than there are FPV drones. They sell millions of drones a year. They have millions of flight hours on wireless video that they get to diagnose, test, and check. They are an incredible company when it comes to hardware design and software. They don't quite work in the same building, but yeah, they're not even, you know, DJI is, it's like comparing Apple to your local computer shop. And I think we have to accept, and the community needs to accept, Caddx are not DJI. They never will be. They will never get close. That doesn't mean they can't produce a product that is viable for a bunch of the community. Arguing, though, Caddx is as good as DJI or they are better at the... Look, it's pointless. It's like comparing an ant to a gorilla. And that's the issue, you know. It's O4 isn't even a rounding number on DJI's daily thing. O4 isn't even important to DJI. It's a pet project. Could we use a USB to HDMI converter on the Goggles 3? No. You know, so, look, I think we have to stop thinking Caddx. They're decent bang for the buck. They offer something different. If it suits you, go for it. But don't expect them to catch up. That's the truth of the matter. Just I think you got to accept the product will be an inferior product, but it may have some features that absolutely suit you. Does O3 still get full iNav OSD? So, OSD is a bit of a complicated one with DJI. You've got this new OSD hack that was released. I'm going to probably do a video on that on O3 with the Goggles V2. O3 on Goggles 2 Integra or Goggles 3 don't have full OSD. Full beta flight. Well, it's not even full beta flight technically. But again, I still believe the issue is not DJI's, largely DJI's fault. The API documentation around MSP DisplayPort is pretty poor. And I still believe there needs to be a separate project for MSP DisplayPort. A completely separate project for MSP DisplayPort. Because I had a look at what DJI apparently broke in O4, and I couldn't even find that mentioned in the Betaflight API documentation. So if it's not in the API documentation, how would DJI know to follow it? I don't quite get that. Look, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think MSP DisplayPort is a joke. I think the way it's set up is asking for problems. The kickback on that will be, well, it works fine with HDZero and Caddx because HDZero and Caddx work with the developers. DJI doesn't do working with people very well. So you have a choice. You can blame DJI for saying, well, if you talk to us, then we wouldn't have these problems. Or should all of this be documented in such a way that no one should need to talk to you to get it to work? And that is my main argument. My main argument isn't that DJI is... Sorry, that they're not helping themselves. My main argument is, if this was documented correctly, no one would need to talk to any of the flight stacks to be able to get it to work properly. If you have to talk to them to get it to work properly, then I think it's a failure. And that's my point. Make it a standard, make it fully documented, and here's the simple way of doing it. Look at Mavlink. Mavlink is a separate standard with everything completely documented outside of any specific flight stack. Mavlink is completely... It's part of drone code, but it is completely separate. You can develop on Mavlink and never have to talk to any of the flight stacks that use it. And this is my problem. And this is my overall problem with MSP DisplayPort, because the only specification for MSP DisplayPort and I was told I don't know what I'm talking about, right? So here there is only 2 bits. There's FPV WTF, and then there's Betaflight MSP DisplayPort API calls, and that is it. This is all of the information out there, right? You've got this, which is MSP WTF, and then you've got API extension. And just look, this isn't all of it. DisplayPort commands. It gives you a basic overview of how it works. It gives you a basic information. But this isn't everything. That's it. That's all there is. That is all of the public information on how to implement it. Unless you start digging into the code. And what apparently DJI broke, I can't find listed here. So my point is, it isn't documented properly. And I'm not blaming Betaflight. Nothing to do with Betaflight. Betaflight are documenting their bit. Again, I firmly believe MSP DisplayPort needs to be moved off into its own project where they all contribute, right? Everyone contributes to it. And I don't care if they won't play ball with each other, because that's their problem to sort out. And the first one, and I can tell you now, the first project that says, oh, that'll never work, everyone won't agree, is the project who's the problem. And then you have it all documented, and then you have all of the fonts published there, and then there is a single place that the manufacturer can go to update their fonts on a regular basis. So when DJI do a firmware update, they could then go, oh, let's pop onto the MSP DisplayPort project and update the font pack in this update. And they can pull all of the fonts from a single place. And that's my point. But I'm wrong, and I don't know what I'm talking about, apparently, by one of the by one of the devs, at iNav. But look, I'm not changing my stance because they don't like it. iNav's dev team is not my problem. Frankly, I don't give two cares about them. I have no problem. Look, I've said nice things about iNav dev team. I've said nice things about Betaflight dev team. I've certainly said bad things about the Betaflight dev team, and I've said bad things about iNav dev team. My job isn't to say the things they want to hear. My job is to give an opinion on what I think is right. I'm not saying I'm right, but I think the way it is today is part of the problem. And that's the issue. And it's hardly surprising that DJI have issues. And I don't take the argument that, well, if they communicated, we wouldn't have these problems. They shouldn't have to communicate. They don't have to work with you, just like they don't have to work with me. They can do what the hell they want. So your choice is make their life as easy as possible, or stop whinging about them not supporting you. What you have today is this bit of a whinge of they won't work with us, so it's their fault and they're nasty and evil. That's the problem. So, look, I don't think iNav I don't think got something particularly wrong. I think the issue with O4 was very specifically the lack of standard, which has caused a gap which needed filling. Apparently it's DJI's fault, but I don't see where that was published. So I don't know how you can blame someone where it's not published. That's my thoughts on it. Yeah, old school, multi-wee serial, yeah, MSP. Multi-wee serial protocol. Yeah, it's been around a while, isn't it? So that's that. So, back on Caddx a minute. I don't know which one it was. That's that one. We haven't really got any more info. We'll have to wait and see. Apparently there's a little drone coming. Haven't really got any info on that. Was it this one? No, that was the JB video. Did I overtake that one or not? Yes, there it is. So, apparently that's coming. I will buy it. I will tear it apart. Or Caddx will send it. I don't know. And we'll have a look. I think I'm equally hated by the iNav dev team and Caddx test team. I think I'm in equal levels of hate between the two. Does the O4 unit handle heat better than O3? Yes, it does, by a long way. But yeah, definitely looks like a bit of a Defender 16 if you've seen the Defender. Very weird. How does race mode work on DJI vs Caddx? Well, Caddx race mode is basically nothing and doesn't really work anything other than align into race mode channels. It doesn't change the system behavior. DJI race mode does change the behavior overall. It seems to work fine. I can't find any downsides to race mode so far. When's the video with the chargers and the power supplies coming? Probably a week or so. Look, so that's Caddx. We've moved on. I've got a little bit of content that's in the can that's slowly coming out. I'm trying to get through everything. Look, guys, I am on a slowdown at the moment, okay? I'm traveling a lot, and as a result of that, I'm not making as much content as I have been. You're not going to get the amount of content over the next couple of 2 or 3 months from me that you have in the past. It's not that I don't want to, it's just there are things in my life that mean I can't do it at the moment. Life always comes first. I'm also finding it a bit hard to make content right now. I'm struggling, if I'm honest, on getting the vibe right. I'm not really happy with anything that I've put out in the last 3 months. I don't think there's been a good video in 3 months plus. I'm recording stuff and I'm finding it's not working. I'm not happy with it. It's not going the way I want it to. I'm in the middle of winter, and I always get like this in the middle of winter, that I can't fly, right? Like I just can't fly. I can build something right here, and it'll be ready to go, and I'm sitting here for 4 weeks waiting for it not to be wet, not to be windy, and it's just impossible at the moment. It gets you down because I'm building up pipelines of stuff that I can't finish because I need to fly. I need to, I've flown O4, but I can't get near it. I just can't get near it right now properly. The weather is just not letting me. Anyone who's in the UK will know, especially my side of it. It's always windy. It's always wet where I live. We had an hour today. I thought, oh, it's dry. Went outside and it was raining. It's so hard. It just. And I find it really frustrating because the last 3 months has been bench videos. And that's great for certain things. Okay? That's fantastic for certain kinds of content. Take the HDZero flight controller video. I don't need to fly it. No one needs to fly it to show it. It's a really nice little flight controller. It's got Express ELRS built in. Flying it really won't change anything. What you really need to know is what it does and what it's got on board. So those kind of videos are quite easy to do. The stuff where I need to fly it, I just can't do. It's killing me. It's literally killing me. I am so out of practice, it's insane. Right? You can fly a quad. I'm not a bando basher. But I am incredibly out of practice. It's insane. I can fly it up and down a beach. I can fly it around there. But when it comes to, anything more than flying it around, I need some stick time. And I can't fly sims. I just can't do it. I cannot fly a sim. I get sick as a dog. I have not found a solution to my motion sickness. There is not a single way I can fly a sim and not within about 4 minutes need a bucket. And I can fly it in goggles. I've got more goggles than I know what to do with. I can fly it on monitors. I can fly it on TVs. I have not found a solution to my sim motion sickness. I just can't. I honestly, I would love to be on sims all of the time. I just can't. I've written it off as a possibility. I also, and here's a question. I don't feel any of the sims feel anything like a quad. I don't know about you guys. I don't like the physics in any sim that I've tried. I just sort of think they are all crappy, yeah. I just don't feel the physics is there. And I sort of then get, yeah, you go, really floaty. And you hit things you shouldn't hit. Eric, interesting, Ian. I thought I was the only person. I get really nauseous when flying a sim. I got to be 1 hour and 5 in a sim. Yeah, I can't. I honestly, I've said this multiple times on the channel. I can't get near a sim. I've tried everything. I've tried monitors. I've tried high refresh rates, low refresh rates, different camera angles, different views. It's just not something I can get near. And it's literally 5 minutes and I'll be sitting here. It's so bad, right? If I fly a sim for half an hour, I'm screwed for the day. I feel so sick. I get this nauseous feeling. I usually go and have a lie down, and I honestly, I'm done. I feel so bad, I just can't get rid of that feeling for hours. Ryan has said, Velocidrone sim, max physics setting, low graphics setting. Also use the true lens option. I'm going to have to try Ryan's. Play it while on a boat. So, look, I can't sim. I need to get out. And look, I'm trying to finish a couple of videos. Look, I'm really frustrated with the Kiss Ultra video. I can't seem to get it working. Not Kiss Ultra, it's a fucking brilliant. The video. I can't seem to get the video to work. It's not laying out the way I want it to. It's not coming across the way I want it to. I'm at the stage where I want to throw it out and start again. The power supply video is the same. The chargers and PSU video, I need to get that figured out. I've got about 6 videos that I had in progress, which I've just stopped because it just didn't feel right. The slider video this week, we took the slider video today, right? That was one a bit out the norm. I did that on purpose to try and do something a bit different. It's just winter. Yeah, no, like I think it is. I think winter is hitting hard, and hopefully we'll get through it. I'm really excited for the Mojito because that's something different. I'm struggling a little bit with the lack of excitement on some of the stuff we're seeing right now. And that's the problem. You know, we need a bit of a... I'm looking forward to something a bit new. You know, HDZero has got these new goggles coming, I think, at some point. I don't know. I've not been told anything official by Carl, but, you know, we'll have budget goggles from HDZero, which is good. Something different, something new. I like it. The HDZero flight controller. Something different, something new. Another frame. Another set of motors. It's hard to... It doesn't really excite me. It doesn't. It just doesn't excite me. Just another frame. And I've tried not to do too many on purpose. I'm turning down most stuff right now to review. And I think hopefully there'll be some new products coming. There's a couple of videos going to come this week. So you're going to have... I've got like an overview of the ZT Innovate motors. It's just an overview video. It's not a review. I don't review motors, so I'm not going to call it a review. It's an overview of what they sent me to have a look at. I've flown them and they look good. I quite like them, how they've flown. They fly quite nicely. I'm trying to figure out with O4 what I want to do. Content-wise, and I haven't found the balance on that yet. Other than saying DJI's a load of shit and has a load of problems. That seems to work. But, look, I don't want to keep making videos saying DJI's a load of shit and has a load of problems. It's true, but... Or Caddx is a load of shit and has a load of problems. I don't have to do that about HDZero because they're not a load of shit and they don't have loads of problems. HDZero is the best racing system out there. It's not for everyone. You know, look, HDZero is by far not the best looking system, but for what it does really well. I do want to get back onto some HDZero content. Joshua said last week Emax is working on some OpenIPC goggles. Okay, could be interesting. Let's hope it all works. HDZero boards are fragile. I wouldn't say they're any more fragile than Caddx. Some of the earlier boards were soft. I'll admit that. But the Caddx boards are as bad. We got some huge news coming. Brilliant news on HDZero. That's great. I need to do more HDZero content. HDZero has a little bit of a problem, and that problem is it's very good at what it does, and it doesn't really leave you a lot to talk about. Look, I spend a lot of my time talking about Caddx and DJI, and that's not because I don't like HDZero. I actually really like HDZero for what it works for. But the problem is it works well. So you're a bit sort of ran out of things to say because it's like, it's amazing at racing. It is the best racing system on the market today in a digital as a comparison to analog. It's got the lowest latency. It's got analog style breakup. If you don't like it, I get it, but it is what it is. And it's hard then to keep going because it works well and it does what it's meant to do. And the goggles are really quite good. And it's like, yeah. And I feel for Carl because I'm never really making enough HDZero content. Carl needs to mess something up badly so I can say it's a load of shit and then make another video and say they fixed it. See, because he'll get 2 videos out of it then. He needs to break something badly and then fix it so I can say something bad and then something good. It's just different. HDZero is different. It's not the same system. It's not designed to be the same. It's a different animal. It behaves differently. It will always behave differently. 16x16 HD stacks. Groku, is that real? 16x16. Jesus, that's small. Yeah, that is small. There is a motion controller called Handlebar RC on YouTube. Weird. Right, before we wrap this video up, there's one last thing I want to talk about, because I'll forget if I don't. Look, some guy called NordFPV, I don't know if he's sponsored by NordFPV. I fucked it. Some guy called NordFPV, don't know if that's any relation to NordFPV. Some guy called NordFPV says there's a set of full CNC gimbals coming from Jumper. It is a bit clickbaity, this video. I'm going to be honest with you. Better than AGO1. Okay, let's cut the bullshit here. How can it be better than an AGO1? The AGO1 is a full CNC gimbal. That's basically perfect. Right? But apparently there is... I was told it was coming from Jumper as well. They told me they were making this. Full CNC gimbal. Now, this is a bit more of a marketing video than... Because I'd like to have seen a lot more. Because, for instance, you don't really see the back of the gimbal.
Gimbals.
Is there any plastic in this? I want to see the back end, not the front end. And then he fits it. And you see the back end go in. But you don't really see much about it. You literally don't see much about it at all. There's no listing for these anyway. I can't find them to buy. I'm guessing he got them from Jumper. But technically, they exist, it seems. There are new CNC gimbals for the Radiomaster Pocket.
Installed them.
And I'd love to have seen a lot more of the gimbal from the back. I'm intrigued why he's hiding the back. Or he's not hiding the back and just never thought. The fact he doesn't show the back to me makes me wonder, is there some plastic or a lot more plastic in the back? I could be wrong, but I'm just suspicious, that's all. Show me the back of the gimbal. But look, it'll be nice if Jumper have CNC gimbals as an option. That's not a bad thing. Nice for the T15. It's a nice radio. I do like the T15. See, there he's putting it in, but you can't see a lot. I want to see more. You can see there's a big... It does look metal. It does definitely look metal. What is a good set of analog goggles? The Orca FPV1 pilots are probably the most advanced analog goggle out there today. The field of view is a little bit small. I just sent my ones back to Orca. If you guys remember, they lent me a set for reviewing their quad. Didn't get to keep them. They've gone back. I no longer have them. They were a loan and they've been returned to Orca. I do really quite like the FPV1 pilots. The field of view is a little bit small for me. I would have liked a bit more. Skyzone O4X. Overall, I think the O4X, honestly, or the Cobra X, as someone says. But yeah, so I've sent the FPV1 pilots back because I didn't get to keep them. They went back. Thank you, Walker. I really appreciate the lending of them. Hey, thank you for the super chat from Milford Killen Dawson. Winter sucks. If you like something new, different to build, I emailed you about some... I'm so behind on emails as well. Some stuff you try even. Yeah, if it's what I think it is, I will reply, mate. Sorry. It's I'm just so behind on everything. eSheen's EV3000 are a good goggle. Yeah, not tried them. HDOs, yeah, I just don't recommend Fat Shark. I still have my issues recommending Fat Shark. Yeah. Just catching down. One last thing. Now, before I finish up, there is one last thing. I think someone mentioned it earlier. I think we've hit 69,000 subs. We're nearly at 70,000 subs, which is insane, if I'm honest. Yeah, we've just hit the 69K. Jesus, when did that happen? That's insane. I don't really know what to say about that. That is just bonkers. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone. I really appreciate it. The viewers, but also the Patreons. The Patreons, you guys are amazing because you get very little from me. I am a crap person on Patreon. I send the odd message on there. I have time issues, and that means I can't put my time in everywhere. I promise you there is some good stuff coming for the Patreons. There will be something coming this week. But I just want to say a huge thank you to all the Patreons, the Buy Me a Coffees, and anyone who's watched a video, because I can't quite believe we've hit 69. We're nearly at the 70, which is crazy. It's just insane. I can't, you know, I remember when the channel was at 6,000 subs and 10,000, and then we hit 20, and then we hit 30, and then we hit 40, and it's just crazy to see me. And look, there are channels that I watch which I think are amazing, that I see at 70,000 subs, and they make me look like a joke. If I'm honest, I'm not talking about FPV. I'm talking about outside of it. There are just some amazing channels out there. But look, you might see a bit less from me, but I'm not stopping. It's not ending. It will. I need to find my way a little bit again because I feel like I'm wandering through the woods, not quite knowing which way to turn. But we will get back on the horse properly, and I might have a video that hits 10k subs again soon. Actually, the last couple haven't done too bad, but yeah, it'll level up. It'll level up. Finally, RTX 5090. I can get one in the UK for $3,000. $3,000. Nvidia, I have the same message for you that Linus Torvald gave you. I'm not going to do it, but I leave you with the message that Linus Torvald gave you for your pricing on your products. Wait for it. Thank you, Nvidia, for your pricing. $3K, not for me. And I leave you with...
So, Nvidia, fuck you.
That's what I leave you with, Nvidia. Look after yourselves. Stay safe. We will be back again sometime next week. And I will speak to you guys soon. Thank you, every person, for the super chats.